I'm itching to climb rather than film fucking videos.
Johnny Dawes, affectionately known in climbing circles as the Cosmic Rascal, is one of Britain's finest rock climbers. He's a flamboyant character who just can't resist entertaining the tourists waiting for the car ferry at Uig on the Isle of Skye.
June 79, I came here with the CCF. You could either go and bring hot meals to grannies, or you could march around on the square, or you could go climbing. And I used to go climbing. The mountains are quite abrupt, and you see them as a massif, proper massif, and they look super old straight away. And they don't look, if you'll forgive me, Welsh. They just look incredibly grand in their own right, and they all suit each other. It's a beautiful vision to see them, and they're very, very different to the Lake District mountains. I think someone once said that the lakes were Tudor and North Wales was medieval, which I always thought was a really interesting observation. So we're going to do a Johnny Redhead route.
John Redhead, when I first came to Wales, was the climber that inspired me. And over a period of time, he developed a personal ethic of what you find satisfying to climb and how to climb it.
I've done it quite a few times before, but it's not something to just take lightly.
E96C, in climbing terms, nothing. E96C speaks of collecting, speaks of commodities, speaks of CVs and business. It speaks of climbers being paid to do a job. E96C is out there in the streets every night.
I mean, I love John's vibe, it's great. Poetry Pink, and you know, a lot of his names are a bit obnoxious, but some of them are sort of really funny as well.
Johnny Dawes and Johnny Redhead. Johnny Redhead is the kind of traditionalist climber. Johnny Dawes is the sort of young radical that's come onto the scene, 10 years he's younger.
I used to hang out in the studio with him where he used to paint his beautiful pictures of the forests and stuff. But, you know, also doing routes in a way that can kill me, I wasn't so keen on.
It's about survival, motivation to survive. The realisation, especially on cloggy, is that you can lift just one finger slightly and you've gone.
Poetry Pink. It's only got 2 bolts. It's the classic route of the designer danger period, which really wasn't designer danger, it's just plain laziness on the part of all of us that put only a few bolts in. But you definitely want a squeaky boots. So you know, when I first came to Wales, I'd been climbing E6 and E7 on grit a little bit, but coming here, you know, I was a one-move wonder. So I used to go to Traumatic and climb E4s, and before I know it, I had a bit of chunk. Bouldering, I got a bit of power, and then it all started to come together. And for weeks in 86, there were maybe 4 or 5 people on site in E6. And then I think I on-sighted Nick Dixon's route called Teenage Menopause, which is kind of E7. And then I sort of got a flint-hard kind of confidence in myself. I thought I could sort of climb anything. You know, these routes are fantastic routes, but they're not fantastic routes because I climb them. The fact that I climb them is pretty irrelevant. You know, this is what people just don't seem to get. The rock's the star. Always has been, always will be. I was lucky to have wealthy parents. I got a trust fund when I was about 18 or something. I think I got about 50k, and I made that 50k last about 25 years, basically, through dossing on people's floors, eating people's unfinished food in PCs. And in the evenings, we'd go to the pub, we'd play pool, and we'd go to parties, and yeah, it was a bloody great laugh. And then we'd go climbing the next day. The whole thing would happen again. I've been going to Lidl and taxing my car and going to the cafe and drinking too much coffee and writing. I've not been climbing, so this has not been that easy to do.
Johnny swaps one playground for another, whether it's a crag or the corner of a shop. Most people revert to their childhood in later life. It sometimes seems as though John never tried to leave his.
I'm 58 and a half, so, you know, you'll sort of have days when you're 30 and days when you're 70, when you're that age. And I'm not in pain. I've got a dodgy thyroid, so, you know, I run out of gas a little bit. I smoked a little bit too much, so my lungs aren't as good as they could be. On the other hand, you know, I cycle regularly and run 5 miles, so not that bad. My memory's not so great, but I think that's because I've been using my brain for specific construction of things. I always remember people and vibes for people, but people are always telling me things about my life, things that I've done.
Johnny, something of a maverick among modern climbers, well deserves his other nickname of Stone Monkey.
In some ways, not remembering these things is quite lovely, because people come up to you and tell you what your life's been like.
Climbing rock to me is like food, and it's only when I haven't done it for a while and come back and do it that I realise that it is food. You feel like the rock's climbing you as much as you're climbing the rock. For one thing, you don't necessarily feel like you're moving up. You can just as easily feel like the rock's moving down.
I think the biggest sense of loss since then is not being really, really fit and having complete freedom to do exactly what I wanted. On the other hand, I wasn't particularly happy in myself then, and now I really enjoy just being alive, which is kind of not great for climbing hard because I can't basically be arsed.
It's a strange sort of enjoyment. I mean, they call it proto-suicide when you take a lot of risks in sequence. And then, unfortunately, sort of the magazines and things get hold of this, and they don't tell the whole story about what it's like as a person doing it. You get fixed as a sort of a madman or an artist or a whatever, and those people can go fuck themselves basically. They don't know anything about it, and they're all has-beens or never was.
I really enjoy challenge, and if I went somewhere I was really psyched to climb, I'd just naturally get really fit, and then I'd be excited to climb some harder things. But in the slate quarries, there's only a few bits of rock I've seen that I really like, but climbing these old bits of crag by circuitous walking routes is good fun.
A grade just gives you some idea of where the climb stacks up relative to other climbs, so that when you go to try and climb the route, you know that you're taking on something which is within your grasp. Grades are trophies, I would say. The trophy that you take from any climb. To me, the thing that's amazing is to be at the crag and to climb the rock.
I'm not really that keen to take big falls anymore. And equally, I spend a lot of time writing and coaching and doing other things. But life's a bit different, but I like it a lot. I live a sort of old man's life now. What's perfect balance made of? What's the first principle?
Kind of your weight's right in the right place.
Yeah. What about the contact? Tell me about the contact of the foot on the floor.
Flat.
It's flat to the flattest bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So your foot's got to match the flattest bit. So you've got to know where that is, and you've got to have, and then you put your centre of gravity through the middle of that, and you arrange the rest of your body around that. People have got enormous power that they can find if they're really motivated and know what they're trying to achieve. But the grip side of it and the movement of your body side, that's much more subtle. You sort of learn about pure grip, which is a skill, not a physical sort of element or level. So there's a hell of a lot of that in climbing that I think people discount. It's called the contact, and that's called the rule of hold. And you want to press on that and leave your heel.
If I
leave
fall
your heel lower.
Fall on you.
All the way. And stop and stay. And it's amazing what difference you can make really quickly to people's state of minds in certain situations. Both relax themselves and focus on the task in hand in a way that they'll remain on a task in hand. Those things can be sometimes just phrases or certain ideas that are really effective. Just having climbed and been alive for a long time as well, if you're 58, you hear a lot of things that other people say, you try out a lot of things and fail a lot of things, some of them work, and to not share the things that work just seems a bit crazy, really. So I'm trying to map how to share them in the most relaxed and easy way, because people don't really like being told that they're not very good. So what the hell are you doing?
I'm trying to do what you did, and it's so hard.
If you do really want to be effective at a particular task, then being good at that task has got rules and frames and schemas that you can put together to make you good at it. And that's kind of processing that and making it work is something I really like doing now, and are good at as well. I've had people learn really, really fast. You know, in sort of 10 minutes, they're suddenly not the same person in terms of coordination that they were before. So just notice the next position, standing on that foot, Odd, and don't move. Notice where you're at, that's it. Everybody's really good underlying it all. Everybody can chuck a piece of paper into a bin some of the time, knowing it's already going in. So part of them is genius. It's just that they're either distracted or they're trying to chuck it into the bin, or they don't know there's a bin, you know. So if you haven't got any targeting, then you're just wandering.